When is the optimal time to exit consulting? That's a question that every consultant will ask themselves at some point in their career because we're literally trained to optimize outcomes for our clients. In reality, this is a classic golden handcuff problem. Before I break it down, hi, my name is Yasi. Welcome back to my 10-part series where I spill the consulting tea. I recently quit my consulting job after 3 years, and I'm super excited to speak more openly about the day-to-day, the trade-offs, and how I eventually strategized my exit. So like I was saying, the golden handcuff problem is somewhat of a fallacy. At my firm, at least, if you join fresh out of college, at the 3 to 4 year mark, you'll be promoted to team lead or manager. So 2 to 3 years in, when a lot of people are thinking about getting another job or going the MBA route, some people would say, just wait till you're promoted to manager and that will give you much better exits. First of all, these beliefs aren't completely untrue. Consulting does have an accelerated progression timeline, meaning it is possible for you to be 26, 27 and a people manager. But if you had started your career in any other company, you probably wouldn't be there until you're 29, 30. Let's say you start in consulting right after undergrad and you just keep climbing the ladder. By your early to mid 30s, you'll almost definitely have made partner. That title and tenure can probably give you a lateral jump into another company at the managing director or VP level, where it's very likely there will be people reporting to you who actually are older than you and have more years of experience. So in that sense, yes, it can be advantageous to stick around longer if you're optimizing for compensation or title. But two things. One is I was talking to some companies who often hire ex-consultants, and they basically said it matters more how many years of experience you have, not whether you have that next incremental title. This definitely applies more to companies who have very defined levels and ladders. Do with that what you will. And my second point is, depending on what you want to do long term, it may not make the most sense to solve for title or compensation, but rather you should be solving for what you're doing day to day. For example, I was working in my firm's Los Angeles office, and a lot of consultants around my age wanted to eventually end up in film and TV. The entertainment industry overall seldom outsources project work to top consulting firms, doesn't hire a ton of ex-consultants, and is just more traditional. So they have a culture of working all the way up from the bottom. So a lot of people will tell you that it's better to get your foot in the door early, start building real hands-on experience versus waiting until you're 35 and praying that you'll get one of the few middle management roles open to ex-consultants. For me personally, the thing that I was stuck on the most was actually this idea that I had to stick around and prove that I could make it to team lead. And I definitely experienced a small ego death when I decided to leave before my promotion cycle. The bottom line is I urge everyone in consulting and similarly intense industries to never lose sight of why you started that job in the first place, and do your best to avoid any sort of handcuff situation where you're trading more and more of your time and sanity just for an incrementally better, completely hypothetical outcome. And don't stick around against your will for the sole purpose of proving something to an audience that doesn't really exist. Those are just my 2 cents on optimizing your exit from consulting. Stick around for the next video where I talk about how I planned mine. Bye.